CNN's medical correspondent Dr. Leanna Wen is openly calling on parents and schools to defy the CDC's guidelines regarding their recommendations that kids wear masks in schools, saying that they shouldn't wear them anymore. Of course, if I were to say something like that, then YouTube would censor the video and issue a strike on the account, because normal people aren't allowed to dare disagree, let alone encourage people to violate the CDC's guidelines.
While we're seeing states and locales take matters into their own hands, that means that the federal government is becoming less and less relevant. If the CDC guidance that they're putting out is now not being followed by virtually anyone, that makes the CDC and our federal public health authorities have less credibility. And so I really believe that they need to be changing their guidance. Also, the science has changed. The CDC has already lost a lot of trust and credibility. This is their time to rebuild and remove restrictions as quickly as they were put in. The responsibility should shift from a government mandate imposed from the state or the local district of the school. Rather, it should shift to an individual responsibility by the family.
Kind of amazing, considering former CEO Jeff Zucker was fired only a week ago, and already things are changing. I mean, what's next? Is Joe Biden going to hand out free crack pipes for Black History Month in the name of racial equity? Oh, wait, what's this?
This administration is now going to spend $30 million from hardworking taxpayers on buying crack pipes for drug addicts. They think this is somehow helping them when it comes to racial equality. That's what they're literally saying.
This really is true, by the way. I didn't believe it either, but they are doing this. And their justification is that they're trying to encourage the druggies to smoke their crack and crystal meth instead of injecting it, because that way at least they won't get AIDS. Obviously, Hunter Biden is consulting on the program, and that joke wrote itself. But back to this CNN doctor, Dr. Wen. A couple weeks ago, she actually also violated the CDC recommended guidelines, shockingly saying this.
Cloth masks are little more than facial decorations. There's no place for them in light of Omicron.
Instead of the entire liberal media industrial complex denouncing her and Twitter banning her like they did Dr. Robert Malone, a few days later, the CDC actually updated their guidelines and basically agreed with her. Not all Democrats are ready to agree with us normal people, however, and say that we should put an end to the mask mandates, particularly in schools. Here's Stacey Abrams, who you may recall failed at the Georgia gubernatorial race back in 2018, but undermined our democracy by saying it wasn't a fair election.
So do you think it's time to lift these mask requirements in schools? Would you lift them if you were governor of Georgia?
COVID hygiene is going to be a point of debate for a very long time, and we can only follow the science and follow our circumstances. Unfortunately, in Georgia, we're not at a place where that conversation is ready. I believe that our job is to protect children.
Protect the children, she says, which is why she demands mask mandates stay in place in the schools, when here she is pictured in a classroom just a few days ago, the only person without one. After that photo went viral, she issued this statement, and I'm serious, this isn't from the Babylon Bee. This really is her statement. Quote, "It is shameful that our opponents are using a Black History Month reading event for Georgia children as the impetus for a false political attack. And it is pitiful and predictable that our opponents continue to look for opportunities to distract from their failed records when it comes to protecting public health during the pandemic." Yes, this month we're gonna continue to hear a lot of entitlement from Black people, like this guy.
So I just finished 6.25 mile run. Why do some people look so cute when they run? I mean, I've got my...
Move! Get out of my way! It's Black History Month!
In other anti-whitism news, Project Veritas just released a report showing that systemic anti-whitism is the norm within ESPN. One of the employees revealed that white people can't give Black people any constructive criticism or any really guidance about what they should be doing for their job without that being deemed racist. Speaking of Anglo-Saxon phobics, however, Don Lemon is still quite distraught over CNN's former president, Jeff Zucker, being fired.
So everyone, a personal message that I want to deliver at the top of the show. And hang on one second, just grab my notes here. A lot of folks have been watching, wondering what's happening. It's been a really tough day today and a tough few days for us here at CNN, all week really. I didn't want to talk about it until tonight. So the truth is that we're all heartbroken because we lost our leader here. It has been hard to come into work this week, not only for me, but for so many of us here at CNN, my colleagues, 3,000 of us.
Poor Don. His best friend Fredo got fired, then his boss, but thankfully he still has little Brian Stelter.
Jeff Zucker's departure was shocking to the staff at CNN. This place is not perfect. It will never be perfect. We will always have flaws. We will always screw up. We'll always have to run corrections. We'll always have to keep working to make it better and better and better every single day. That's the goal. But the people who say we're lacking in journalism, that we've become an all-talk channel, that we've run off and we're all opinions all the time, that Jeff Zucker led us astray, those people aren't watching CNN. They're not watching CNN. They're watching complaints about CNN on other channels that don't know what they're talking about. Do some of the anchors say provocative things? Yes. Do some of those clips get played over and over again on other channels and mislead people about what CNN actually is? Yes.
Do some of those clips get dubbed over by the world's greatest YouTube channel? Yes, they do. And I'm glad that Brian's not going anywhere. The country needs comedy right now. The best thing that Brian Stelter could do to contribute to that is to stay on air. The joy that he brings us is priceless. And if you want to help spread some joy, order your Let's Go Brandon shirt from my online store at markdice.com or click the link in the description below. Or if that's not your style, I'm sure you'll enjoy an F. Joe Biden, want to buy a vowel shirt, order Rest Dr. Fauci shirt. All available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.
Joe Brandon, I agree.
No, I really mean it. I'm not joking now, okay?